Stand for the pledge, please. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to the Stormwater Management Board August 26, 2025 meeting. We'll start with the agenda. Drainage Board, cases.
Well, good morning. We only have one case to present to you today. The first case is with NIPSCO. It's case number SM250013. This is NIPSCO is proposing to install a wood utility pole with down guys in our easement. Part of their Viper project, it'll be along Lindbergh Ditch on the west side of Willow Creek Road, north of Stone Avenue. And then again, Lindbergh Ditch on the east and west side of Hamstone Road. We met before the SWAB. NIPSCO made their presentation, and the Stormwater Advisory Board approved unanimously, recommending that this be approved.
Any comments from the board? Entertain a motion.
And that we approve?
Second. We have a motion as well as a second for approval. All those in favor for all those in favor say yes. Or
Yes.
aye.
Aye.
God, get it right. Yeah, that 3 weeks has been, seems like 3 months. Motion approved. I apologize for that. Go ahead, Mike.
Next item, SM250014, is a NIPSCO case, this time with gas. They were not present at the meeting. Therefore, the motion, the item has been tabled, and they're being asked to appear at the next SWAB meeting. So there's no action to be taken.
Okay, agenda, Stormwater Management Board, claims.
Claims before you for approval, recommend approval.
You want to read those off, Mike?
Sure, for the record. Work for Cornell Ditch, $4,855.00. Work in Fieldstone subdivision, which is progressing quite nicely, $256,005.98. Small work in Henderson Ditch for $400.00. Kemper Ditch, $250.00. Liberty Minor, $750.00. Meadow Glen subdivision, $16,568.00. Pleasant Township, Martin Ditch, $5,500.00. Reeves Ditch, $34,815.00. And then various ditches, we're doing our annual herbicide application, $48,876.99. Small project in Windy Oaks for $4,715.00. Recommend approval.
Motion to approve.
Second?
Right. We have a motion for approval as well as the second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion approved.
I just have a quick question. On those smaller dollar amounts, what are they billing for? Like for the 400, the 250, the 750, what are those?
I can't answer that specifically, but usually maybe it's a sinkhole or it's a repair of a pipe or an inspection or something. It's typically maintenance.
Director's report.
Very little, except to say that Chelsea Gordon is scheduled to return the first school week of September. We look forward to her return. That's about all we got for you.
Bridge report.
I've got Chris with me here today because Martin is at a very important nursing meeting because we're going to talk funding for projects. So Chris D'Antonio, our project manager, is here to run through the report for you.
Okay, some changes from previous report. Bridge 80 is complete. Bridge 110 is complete. Bridge 109 on Lindbergh Road is currently on schedule. Deck pour probably next week, the week after. Bridge 98 is on schedule, approximately about 2 weeks ahead of schedule. CR 50 East road closure That was a toll road bridge that was closed, the inner roadway, that is back open. And then also the small structure on Brummett, just north of 1400, that is open as well. And that was a CMP replacement.
Good news. Is there any updates on the closure of 149 at 850?
Our understanding that this week is scheduled to be open. Martin Bobchak checked with the project engineer on the job from NDOT, and I checked with the NDOT construction area engineer, and they both indicated it would be this week sometime that would be open.
Great news. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
The only other thing would be Bridge 132 on 200 West, just south of Route 6. We are currently getting the scope from United Consulting for design of the box beams. I have been in contact with a supplier to get those accelerated hopefully so we can get that bridge. Again, everything is depending on foundation evaluations. It's that foundation's from 1923. So we're going to try to do some work in-house with the bridge crews to get that up to par and then hopefully get that going ASAP.
Are we certain that we understand the full extent of that?
I think to add clarity what Chris said, I think what we want to do, we want to bring United in with their expertise as we were in the bridge inspection.
Okay.
I think we feel confident if the end piers are adequate enough to continue, that we could order the beams, have them installed, and redeck the bridge and be done in a matter of maybe months, and get the beams quick enough. What still remains unanswered is the satisfactory condition of the two end piers. Like Chris said, some of it was built in 1923, and I think it was remodified in what was at least
1975.
so we want to get an inspection on those to make sure what our next step is, because if those are not satisfactory, then we got to do a whole replacement of the piers, the substructure, and we may be coming back at it.
And that bridge will be closed for more than a year.
In that case, yes, it could, but we're working on every avenue, even if we have to replace the piers, all we got to do is structural repair, not replacement in total.
Correct.
Then we could possibly still get that open, hopefully late yet this year.
Do we have any other bridges that were built at that same time with that same?
Was it 43?
48.
And have we taken a hard look at those bridges since?
Last year, we did our inspection, our yearly inspection, so, but again, we're kind of looking at especially major. I think what the issue with this bridge is 149 was closed. Of course, on Robbins Road, everything was being forced to 200 West. Of course, you have construction going on 700 with the NIPSCO stations. And then also you had construction from State Route 6 to 700 at that time, doing some underground. So I think a lot of the traffic was just taking 200 west down and not really paying attention of the, truck. And they were just using that and coming across 700 to go to 149 and then taking that south to avoid stop and go.
What could have we done on our end to avoid something like that from happening?
It's something you could really stop, honestly. It's really maybe trying to monitor with maybe police. That's really the only other issue, item that you could have did, but,
I think maybe to answer Commissioner Granez's question more direct is, staff, myself, Martin, and Chris have talked about what kind of inspections should we do on these 48 bridges in the future.
That's what I meant.
We can take a look at things such as deflection, how much they're deflecting, they have precise instrumentation that we can lay on there. The problem with them is they're thinking of the square, hollow, concrete box tubes, and then they lay them down, put them side together, put a rod in to hold them tight, and then they just tape over the top of them. Well, when you tape over the top, you can't see the top of that beam.
correct.
So in some cases where we feel, sometimes you can see leakage underneath on the bottom of the beam, that's an indication, but not always. In some cases, we talked about doing deflection measurements, we talked about scarifying the surface up on some of the older bridges and actually exposing it, which is very costly, but probably the only way you're gonna find out. And eventually, these beams will probably phase out, but they got our attention, and we're gonna be putting that in our program, and we're kind of evaluating that right now.
Well, given the age of those structures, I mean, we're really gonna have to come up with some kind of plan to replace them, not as they break, but before they break.
Correct. But to do in priority order, we're coming up with the inspection for techniques. Maybe we can identify the worst ones first.
Yeah. Okay.
The bottom line is, when the bridges are inspected, you know, as they're want to be, we're paying for the sins of the fathers, so to speak. They did some fixes that took care of it maybe for 20, 30 years. But now we're in life again. And the best suggestion, I guess, that I heard was when they're planning for the bypass traffic or other bridge reconstruction, is to look at the engineering plan and then maybe include enforcement with scales to prevent the use of these other bridges. So it's appropriate.
Well, having that many bridges, or having that many type of bridges that are similar in age, it's hard for me to believe that this one would be the only one we've got a problem with. We're just not aware yet.
And just because more traffic was going over lately, it was inevitable,
It was inevitable, right?
Yeah.
All that did was,
exacerbated.
Okay. Thank you, gentlemen.
That's all we have.
That's it, okay.
Any questions for us?
All right. Any other matter which may properly come before this board? Would you like to speak? Larry? Nothing? All right. We'll recess. Well, any comments by board members? No? Nobody's got anything to say? Scott, you good?
No, sir.
All right. Ed?
No.
All right. Recess.